Hey, I was sitting around and I was telling some guys about some realities that have never been taught to any of us. And they said, man, you need to put this on YouTube or something. So what I'm about to tell you is going to be quite interesting. And it's going to throw away everything you ever were taught by science, school, the Grand Canyon, everything. So I'll try to do this as quick as I can and get the concept out, and then you guys can reach out to me if you want to get more information. But here's the deal. So science has confirmed that the Earth is very, very old, and there's no argument there. But they're missing the boat on something. It's so blatantly obvious, and I got to reveal it. So, you know this Pangea? The Earth has always had water on it. And Pangea was this one continent that all broke up, and that's why everything kind of looks like it used to fit. You know, I'd like to find the guy that came up with that idea. But here's the reality. That doesn't work. At one time, the Earth was much smaller. Also, there was a firmament over the Earth. This is a condensed layer of water. It protected the Earth from all the elements of the sun and UV rays. People back then lived to be 800-900 years old. And this firmament collapsed. Also, the Earth itself had, the center of the Earth was cooled by water, and that water burst out simultaneously with the collapse of the firmament. That's where we have the oceans now. That's where all the water came from. It didn't just magically appear on the Earth. It actually fell from around the Earth. When it fell, it covered the entire Earth. During that time, the center of the Earth became molten lava, and it's just like a pressure cooker. It expanded. So the entire Earth's surface, the crust of the Earth, it broke into the continents that we have now. And when it did that, all of the water that fell upon the Earth rushed from the highest points and created the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans and such. Now you take a balloon, you fill it up, say halfway, paint it black, let it dry. Now you blow the balloon up after it's dry, and you'll see it does the exact same thing with the paint. It'll look just like everything fit, and it's equally spread across the whole circumference of the balloon. So it's much easier for me to understand that the Earth was smaller. It grew under pressure because the coolant, so to speak, in the center of the Earth was missing, and the molten lava and the pressure and the heat, like a pressure cooker, expanded the Earth while the water was covering. So as this Earth grew, the waters fell into the oceans. This simple concept explains all of the mysteries of most everything I hear in these documentaries with scientists. You know? So, I mean, when you think about their confusion as to why the pyramids exist in Egypt, and then you go into South America, Mexico, China, there's this continuous repetitive design of pyramids. And they say, how did this happen? How did these people, why is it consistent over the entire Earth? You know, there's oceans separating everything. It must have been UFOs with some special intelligence, and they were worshiping the gods and all this. I say malarkey. Look, at one time, I could have walked from Africa to China because there were no oceans. So mankind had connections around the globe. Now they don't. But those were the things that survived this massive event. And so they sit and they pontificate about all these other things. In reality, it's a simple, obvious reality. The Earth was smaller. It got bigger. It created large crevices. Everything looks like a puzzle. The water came off the surface. The Grand Canyon was not cut by the Colorado River. Have you ever seen the Mississippi River? The thing runs all the way across the United States of America, and it has the most massive delta you can see in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, if that Mississippi River made that giant of a delta, almost looks like a peninsula, and the Mississippi River is only 60 feet deep. Then how in the hell did the Colorado River cut the Grand Canyon? It didn't, because there's no outfall. There's no delta anywhere. Hey, wait a minute. Wait, an epiphany. I got it. The southwest portion of the United States of America, Nevada, Arizona, California, what is it made of? Sand. So when that water was rushing off that continent, the United States, it found that weak spot. Just like when you're at the beach and you pour water, the water goes down and it finds the weakest spot and it just pushes that sand like butter. I guarantee you that Grand Canyon was a result of the water rushing off the continent, and it went off into the Pacific Ocean, and the sediment from that soft sandstone that was all in the Grand Canyon, it makes up all the deserts around us. Okay, have you ever stood at the Grand Canyon? They got a sign there, this big monument thing that shows the river going through. And when you look at the river, it's like this little teeny little piece of string running through these massive gorges, 15, 20 miles wide, 4, 5, 6,000 feet deep. The Colorado River cut that through. See, when you have people telling you stuff, Pangea, Colorado River's cutting this, if you don't look at things logically and say, hey, that doesn't make any sense, you just go along with it. They put it in books, they teach you in school, everybody's like, yeah. But when you just look at it logically, no, it's impossible. It doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to reveal this stuff to you guys, because you're going to continue to hear all these hypothetical theories of how things moved around. But I've never heard one person say, no. Pretty logical. The oceans didn't exist. We know that there was a firmament over. That's why the dinosaurs don't. Oh, that's a good one. Dinosaurs. Well, yeah, there was a giant meteor that hit the Earth in Russia, and it killed all the dinosaurs. Really? Why do we find all the dinosaurs up against mountains in piles? If they were just all roaming around and a meteor came in and changed the atmospheric condition and they died because they choked out, wouldn't they just be all laying all over the place? No, they're not. No, they're piled up in the mountains of Wyoming and Montana. And they're all bunched together. What did they do? Oh, man, it's getting dark. Let's all go up against a mountain and lay on top of each other. Look, man, it's evident that the waters killed those things and piled them up against mountains. The pyramids survived because they were massive stone structures. Everything else was wiped out. What's that city of Atlantis? Wow, there was a city of Atlantis and it's gone. We can't find it. Of course you can't. That city was probably in one of the crevices that was created when the Earth expanded itself because of the hot molten lava. Hey, the North Pole and the South Pole, it's switched. They can prove it just by the rock formations. Well, sure, it switched. I mean, there was a massive catastrophe when, not a catastrophe, but an event that occurred when this Earth went from one size to another. Remember the balloon? Paint it black, blow it up, and it'll crack. It'll look just like the United States of America, South America, Africa, you name it, all the continents. Maybe not in the same shape, but it's going to have the similar thing. The only thing is, a balloon is round. It doesn't have to expand because it's flexible. The Earth was not. It was all dirt, and when it expanded, it left large crevices. That allowed the water to come off the surfaces and make the oceans that we have today. I can go on and on and on and on, but I am sick and tired. I stood at the Grand Canyon one time and I sat there and all these people were like, yeah, they got somebody getting paid by the state telling everybody the Colorado River's cutting this thing. Have you ever been there? You know the size and scope? Where the hell did the Colorado River take all of that material to? You can't find it. But yet the little Mississippi River that runs down has got this massive delta. So I'm rambling now. But anyway, my friends told me, you ought to put this out there, you know. And so I'm putting it out there. There's a lot more involved in what I just talked about. And if you want more information, let me know you like the video and I'll elaborate even further. But there's a million things I can... Look, if science would just take a look at what I'm suggesting, it can answer a ton of questions. But I've never heard anybody say this. Never. So it makes sense to me. I am not a scientist. But the Earth was not always this size, folks. And that's why we have what we have here today. Pangea is not going to collapse again and be one continent. It never existed. All right. So I think it's pretty easy. You let me know. Ciao.